Alright, we're going to start today's video with your favorite thing on the channel as of recently, a flooding update. And it's my favorite thing because for once, we don't have water and we can walk clearly around 50% of the compound. The Drift HQ shop is still pretty underwater. The gate still has about 2 feet of water. I go into more detail if you want to go back and watch the live stream that I did last night. I kind of talked a few updates about the hurricane stuff. One thing I didn't mention that a lot of people I've seen commenting about is flood insurance. Unfortunately, we don't have it. Hindsight's 2020. Luckily, like I said a million times, it could have been worse, but still does suck. But everyone's been handling it really well, and as we wait for the water to go down, and we're still being powered by the generator for pretty much a large portion of the property, with our fingers crossed hoping that it'll turn our power back on. Basically, they realized that our transformer boxes were underwater and then they wouldn't turn our power back on. So they're out of water now, so it's just playing the waiting game. Today marks the journey where I start to work on a chassis that I have absolutely zero familiarity with, and that is the NSX. We've done a lot of coilovers. At least I'm speaking for myself. I know Mike hasn't technically done coilovers. He did bags on his car. It's gonna be the first NSX coilovers we do. Shameless plug, we do sell BC coilovers on the LZMFG store, and they will get you a buttload of entries for a chance to win the NSX and $20,000 cash. Check us out. And if some shiny black and gold coilovers don't interest you, we do have probably one of my favorite drops of all time happening today. I gotta pick a time. I should really think of this stuff before I start filming the video. I hate when you film me, it puts me on the spot to make these decisions.
So what happens when you say, okay, go film?
I gotta make a call. Oh, look at my new background. It's been the same thing forever. It's one of my favorite photos of Pete. It's so good. It's like, there's like the color and the turbo and the dog. Yeah. I was going to say 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I'm trying to listen to you guys, and I understand a lot of you guys are still at work at 3, so I'm gonna push it back to 6 p.m. But what that means is no excuses. There's gonna be stuff that's gonna sell out, so make sure you set a reminder if you like what you're about to see. First and foremost, we have one of my favorite designs we have done to date, almost 10 years. And this design right here, which was inspired by an old Japanese JGTC magazine cover that I saw. Basically, we have the giveaway NSX on a racetrack getting chased down by my Evo 5. Very cool vibes. Probably one of my favorite graphic illustrations of all time. So much so that we put it on a t-shirt and we put it on a hoodie in case you live somewhere cold where it's too late to wear t-shirts in the year. Speaking of hoodies, we also have now made, you're good, Johan.
I'm a prop.
Evo, in case you don't want the Evo to be on a shirt with the NSX, we have my favorite Evo design on a hoodie. That's got a cool little sleeve hit. See? Look at that.
Disasters.
Cut! And we also got restocks on the... Oh, that's not a Chaser, that's S15. I suck at that. That's getting restocked. It's also getting restocked on the t-shirt, and then the E36 t-shirt's getting restocked. All the other stuff that you'll see on the site, you can assume it's discontinued. I think a lot of it's already sold out, but make sure you get over there. The new stuff and the restock will be dropping at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Set a reminder, and remember, every $5 you spend gets you entered for a chance to win the NSX and $20,000 cash and clout. Massive shout out to our friend Josh, aka Fiberglass Josh. I don't know if you guys remember how bad this lip was, but it was probably one of the most mangled pieces that I've given him in a long time, and he brought it back to life. This is just like an unobtainium piece to get it from Japan. I don't even know if I could order it. It goes perfectly with this kit, so very happy he was able to save it. And it looks way better than it did before. It was real chewed up.
Yeah, I needed a fork already, so.
And not to mention too, like there were a bunch of random holes in the bumper that I think it used to have like canards or something in it that Ray was able to fill. Or maybe it was Josh, or maybe it was both of them. We love both of you equally. Everyone equal, except for Peter. Peter above all. I've seen a lot of people in the comments complaining that I'm taking off a brand new set of Regamasters for OG spec of TE37s. Now I have to tell you, you don't need to worry. I've added a disclaimer in the sweepstakes where anyone that complains about the giveaway is ineligible. So you can go f yourself. Just kidding. I can't do that. But what I can do for you guys that are complaining out there, I can let you choose which wheels you want to keep with the car. If you want to have a monster truck spec front end because you wanted to run 17s and keep new Regamasters that anybody with a credit card can buy, be my guest. If you want rare, super desirable, lightweight, OG TE37s, that's what I'm putting on first. So either, basically if you win, you can choose whichever. But like honestly, if it were me, I wouldn't be complaining about a free car, so. You know, it'd be really messed up. It would be something that I could never do. But like, if I was one of those YouTubers with like the whistling, what are their engines called? The ones with the black smoke. If I was one of them and I was just like, you know what, f you guys, and I just cut up the wheel, just cause. He was like, you're getting teased and you're gonna like it. I'd get a nasty email from ICB Matt. He would be not stoked. Look at that spacer. Unfortunately, we are going to be using spacers on the other wheels. I like the idea of using smaller wheels with spacers. We're going to put nicer ones on than this, versus putting like 11s or 12s or whatever we need to fill the rear, and then just having way too much tire and making the car drive like poop. It's not going to be making crazy power, even though it's getting supercharged.
380?
I don't want to say any numbers and make myself be called a liar, but it's not going to be as fast as most of the cars we used to build. So fun fact, this car has lots of mismatching shocks, and I think 2 of them were blown out. I want to get this thing dialed in terms of like suspension and not have any clunks or anything. So the starting point, chuck a set of nice BCs on it, and then from there I can start to see if there's any bushings or anything that still have play or any movement. But the shocks are so, I've never had a car that clunks more than this. Even my LS, which was like tired. Or wait, was it an LS? Or was it technically a G? Celsior. I always called it an LS 400. Even the stock suspension on that thing was mint. Like, make sure you get a shot of me. I'm doing the photos.
I'm just filming a shop, and now I'm just curious as to what you're looking at.
I don't know.
Is the Swift spring on there?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I've never had a car before where you have to open up 2 separate trunks to get access to the top coilover. Well, I guess it could be worse. It could be a chaser where you have to like undo the seat and stuff, which is kind of annoying. Always a good time. The new NSX that could be yours is getting a swamp tire straight from the bottom of the ocean floor that ran on my chaser for a lot of miles. It's got camber wear. All jokes aside, I have no idea what size tires are gonna look good on the car, and this is like the closest thing I had to what I think would fit well on this. And before I go order tires from Nitto, I wanna just throw something on there. So we've got a 215/40 for the front and a 235/40 for the rear. We'll see how this kind of stacks up, and then I can order tires from there. I'm all for like matching stretch, and I think I kind of hit the tire right on the bead with the size choice here. The rear definitely looks a little meatier, but I think part of that deception is just because the sidewall's a little taller. But what's kind of cool is about it is we'll kind of get that same like double staggered look like most NSX guys like, but it's more so from the tire than the wheel, and will let us have a less fender gap with the car not having to be as low. So I was weighing on the idea of bagging the car, but I feel like a build kind of needs a direction, and kind of the supercharger and like the aero and everything, like it really is going more direction of like kind of a race car, track car type stance. Especially I think with a more square tire profile, and the fact that it's an NSX. I do love Mike's bagged NSX, but I don't know if I'm ready to join the bag world yet. Front definitely is going to need to come up a bit. The rear isn't too bad. I'm curious how it sits on the ground though.
I mean, the rear's pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you photos of what I've been trying to achieve with this car. There was some photos of it when it was in Japan. It had the same exact TEs in it. They were in a very similar color, and I thought the car looked fantastic. It was dumped on the ground. However, I don't know how usable the car was, because I did notice some rub marks back here and kind of like the rear pinch weld area. And I do think that it probably had 35 sidewalls instead of 40 sidewalls in the front. I'm not completely sold on the look right now, and I might honestly go back to the other wheels that I told you guys you would get banned from the channel if you said you liked them more. But it's worth a shot with a 35 sidewall tire, so I'll probably order another one to try, but this is why I wanted to throw in a dumpster tire real quick just to see what's going on. It's just, you can see the clearance back here is so tight that it just really needs that skinnier tire, and I'm afraid that might look weird. I just really want the car to look good and drive good, and those are two things that are very difficult to have coexist sometimes.
I'm gonna lie, after looking at this and then looking at the other side,
Yeah.
it looks pretty good with the Regas and the...
Yeah, even though they're like, maybe I need to put the Regamaster sticker on it. They just look fake to me. They're not fake, by the way. I checked. They're not fake. I thought they were fake, but they just, look at it. It looks like a freaking, what are those things that people would slam their car on in Dalium? By the way, this isn't overspray. This is just dust. We'll freak out on the matte from ICB if you see this. I don't hate the satin black.
I mean, it goes with the rest of the black.
Wheels are one of the toughest things in cars. It's like my favorite wheels ever. My Meister 3-piece wheels that I have that I got for my S13, they don't look good on anything. The only thing that they've looked good on is a green S15, but it needs to be super stanced. But every other car I put them on, just ain't it.
Yeah, I know somebody has like NSX specs Blixes. So it'll be the second red car that we give away with Blixes on it.
He's trying to be funny, but like,
It's not gonna be bad.
I do
looking.
technically have NSX spec Blitz upstairs.
Oh, look. Fine.
We might need to do some test fitting. I have 17, 18 stack. There goes my Blitz collection. Tune in for the next video where we test fit more wheels on the NSX that you can take home by spending $5 on the LZMFG store. Something that I should probably note, I addressed that tire issue with the rubbing on the NSX. The caster was actually way off on this wheel. So now that the caster is corrected, you can see there's quite a bit of clearance in the back. So it'd be worth test fitting the other wheels, but ride height could use a little bit more dialing in, and we can test fit those TEs again once I get the other tires and see how it looks overall. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for an update on the CRX. Obviously, we've had a few curveballs between the Hurricane and everything else that's been going on, but Ray just finished painting the interior on it the other day, and it came out amazing. I went with this steel gray color. It's very durable, it has nice coverage, and it kind of gives it a nice polished, durable look that's easy to keep clean. You'll also notice too, Marco made a plate and welded it in back here. There was some rust over in the gas tank area, so he was able to get rid of that before it got painted, just to keep everything nice. But I love how clean and consistent it looks on all the door bars, and even the stuff that doesn't have any interior panels on it, just the shifter chilling there. It just looks so cute. I think I said at one point we weren't going to pull the engine in the car, but you guys know every build is kind of scopes creeps, and since the entire thing is getting repainted, the entire interior is repainted, Marco's project today, he's actually going to drop the engine on this thing. The engine bay will end up becoming the same color as the car. You can see right now it's definitely not the most tasteful thing. Probably end up cleaning some stuff too when it goes back in. I don't know if I've told you guys the color that this car is going to be painted in any of the videos. If I have, you already know. If not, I want to try to leave some element of surprise just because I think it's going to come out really cool, and I'm super excited for it. Hopefully, timeline-wise, by the time the compound's dry enough to do a lap around here, the CRX will be ready to do some ripping, and it will look sick, drive sick, and kind of be like a pretty legit CRX race car for something that's just supposed to put smiles on faces around the compound. So today, Marco's working on that project. Sean is just finishing up putting an SR back in this S14 that I had. Just a simple stock S13 SR that I had on a pallet. I'm just putting that car back together to sell. Gonna thin out the collection of some cars that I don't really intend on doing anything with. I've got some stuff today that I want to knock out on the R32 GTR, but I'll probably end filming for that for the next video because I'm assuming we probably have a decent length video, and I want to get this up before the giveaway restock and new merch goes live. So remember to check that out. The link will be in the description, and I'll see you guys soon.